the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted the business processes of many educational institutions around the world. Your organization develops services and platforms integrating innovative technologies such as blockchain, machine learning, or artificial intelligence. But before we talk about how these technologies can enhance learning, I would like you to introduce yourself and tell us more about your professional background.
Mhm. Thanks, Claudia, for the question. So my name is Glib Konotop. As of now, I work as the Director of Business Development at Unicsoft. So yeah, as you've mentioned, my organization develops and focuses basically on artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain solutions mainly, and have a vision of how these technologies could benefit the education sector around the globe. Um, so my key area of responsibilities in the organization is exactly establishing partnerships and looking and searching for new business opportunities. My initial background is in economics, basically in international economics. So I held my PhD thesis 3 years ago in 2017 in Kiev National University of Taras Shevchenko, basically in the Institute of International Relations. And my research was dedicated to the topic of institutional mechanisms and institutional environment, which is to attract external funding to emerging markets. So I've been focusing on creating like a positive investment climate and understanding of what should be done in order to have this positive climate in our country, and what kind of institutional mechanisms, meaning like organizations, legislation, um, and so on, to be in conformity with the expectations of the foreign investors. Um, yeah, so yeah, I've spent like 4 years for this research. And as of now, yeah, I switched my career towards the information and technologies sector, and because I believe this is something that could benefit both education sector and help Ukraine to become more, positive in terms of the investors' expectations. And as of now, I observe many of them being interested in investing in an IT sector in Ukraine. So I think that's the future for our country.
What technologies do you actually use at your organization?
Oh, there are many of them. So if we talk about the blockchain, we use mainly Hyperledger Fabric, and Hyperledger Sotus. Also Ethereum for building. So both of them for building smart contracts and blockchain-based system. Hyperledger is basically a better fit for highly scalable, highly load enterprise level solutions. From our practice, we used Hyperledger for building a number of track and trace solutions, which is very important for supply chain management, because yeah, all the stakeholders of the supply chain process, they have lower vision on where the on all the paths of the products from the first supplier to the end customer. For example, the last one we built, solution was related to fighting counterfeit and avoid fraud during the whole supply chain. So the main idea was to allow end user to be sure that the product he is going to buy is original and produced by an authorized manufacturer. So basically, yeah, if we talk about blockchain, there are Hyperledger and Ethereum. If we talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, basically there are like lots of techniques and technologies that could be used to deliver solutions. So I can maybe split them to the types of like types of the applications of, for example, machine learning. We do all the solutions within this technology. So we do like predictive analysis when we analyze historical data and try to predict future results based on this data. Also, there might be diagnostic analysis when we just analyze the whole system and compare each of the elements between each other. Um, yeah. Also, so these are the main ones. Um, yeah. Also, we do natural language processing. So we analyze text, human text, and are able to capture like the words and the most important things inside. So this technology is very important for chatbots and basically to build conversational AI-based chatbots that basically can substitute human in some repetitive tasks. So, for example, if we talk about the education, those chatbots could help students to, for example, get relevant information from the library quicker, or find those across the internet, or basically such a chatbot can represent kind of, FAQ. So when a student has some kind of a problem or he needs some guidance in certain questions, so such a conversational chatbot could be very helpful and can basically assist the student in a friendly manner and help him to solve his issue. Also, there are many projects related to computer vision. So where we use machine learning and artificial intelligence to recognize objects on the videos and photos captured by special cameras. So those are used in many spheres, basically in like in the global IoT, so Internet of Things. For example, like the first use case that I can recall for the education sector. So you can imagine a big classroom where students are passing some exams, and of course, teachers and universities interested that students won't cheat on this exam and will just use their own knowledge to complete the test, for example. So with by this we can place like one or like a set of cameras in the classroom and learn the machine learning algorithm to recognize when a student is looking somewhere, you know, uh, somewhere else and tries to cheat. For example, he's using his mobile phone to find the answers in the internet, or he has some kind of paper sheets in his pocket and he tries to read some information out of there. So such types of activities could be recognized by artificial intelligence algorithms, and such behavior could be recognized on video or on the photo. And by that, we can notify, for example, the teacher in the classroom that Mr. Smith is cheating, and therefore the tutor can take measures and, for example, disqualify the student from the exam.
Do you have any other use cases, anything, technologies within your organization?
We can use machine learning to basically recommend students with the best sources for their education based on their own interests. So this is very similar for like very similar with the advertisements, just to explain. So when you, for example, had a look at some products on the website, for example, on Amazon, then you received like targeted ads in Google, like, hey, you please have a look at this product as well, because you have already this record in your profile that Google and other providers collects about their users. So that's pretty much the same. So the user can state his preferences in terms of education, can state his preferred areas of professional interest, and algorithm can match the sources like literature, videos, courses, different books, etc., with those interests, and recommend the best matching to the student, therefore simplify the learning process and minimize the time needed to find those resources in the library, in the internet, or elsewhere. So such an assistant could even be helpful in terms of finding some specific information like statistics, reports, and other papers that could be used during scientific researches and studies. Uh, so it could be achieved by scraping like relevant information in the internet with the predefined parameters. Also, such an assistance could use kind of speech recognition that I've already mentioned, like natural language processing. So I believe in the future, the main use case would be something similar to Alexa, but in learning industry. So everyone will be able to say to his phone or a laptop, like, Alexa, could you please find video research for 2020, for example, and receive this directly on the laptop without the necessity to type in this information in Google and review like 10 websites just to find the required report. Also, artificial intelligence could be helpful in automation of repetitive tasks. For example, that could be used in like checking the tests in writing and other types of work that could be automated. So if we talk about like tests that students complete during the exam or whatever, so those tests could be also like captured by the camera if they are done in writing, and camera will be able to help tutors to check those and grade it in automatic way, so that tutor won't spend much time for this huge part of work and will be able to devote more time to the students and to researches. Also, there might be the use case where, for example, a tutor has his own lectures in writing, like a sheet, like a paper where is the plan and the words and the text he's going to present during the lecture. So there is a possibility to transfer this text from to voice and basically create a 3D model of of a professor, like a virtual professor that is able to, in a conversational way, present the information that is in the paper. We all of us know that like new generation is more about visual stuff, and so all of us captured like video and visual information better than information in text. But yeah, resources of professors, they are limited. So basically we can turn into 3D lecture or just any text, any lecture text that already exists. Um, yeah, and also, yeah, just to contribute again to the topic of chatbots, so AI-powered conversational chatbots could be like personal assistants for the students, just to, to lower the learning curve and facilitate the learning process.
Do you know any best practices from companies level?
Yeah, we've been consulting one company from the United States, exactly in educational technology sector. It was a startup funded by some grant from the United States, and their main idea was to build a application, like learning application, but completely different from existing ones like Coursera and others. Their main idea was that, uh, uh, of course, uh, so that there is some distancing in existing platforms between students and lecturers. And they wanted to combine those two roles and make them closer within the brand new platform. So what does it mean? For the professors and lecturers, they wanted to use artificial intelligence to help them preparing the content for their courses. So for example, you're typing new article or just a new chapter for your brand new course, and artificial intelligence recognize the text with natural language processing that you are typing and recommend you to like augment this text with some cool stuff like pictures, videos that are related to the topics, statistics, some charts, diagrams, and so on. So just to facilitate the process of unique content creation. Um, and on the other hand side, we have students who are interested in this unique content that should be visual, conversational, just good looking in order to motivate them to learn. And also, so their idea was to help professors to monetize their knowledge and experience in some particular technologies. That is why, for example, if student studies economics, we expect him to be interested, for example, in investments. So in case he is, we can recommend such unique content from well-known and famous professors, so that we can help professors sell these courses, books, lectures, articles to the students that has expressed their interest on the platform. So it's kind of like a mix of a learning platform like Coursera is, plus some kind of marketplace where unique content could be generated and sold to the students with identified interests. That was quite an interesting case, I believe, and something that could, change the way of how do students learn nowadays.
What opportunities does the COVID-19 emergency present to the transformation of your core business processes?
I think everybody knows that COVID changed the way of how businesses act nowadays. So same is for Unicsoft, and starting from March, we had to rethink our approach and how do we act on the global business scene right now. To be frankly speaking, the 2020 was quite fruitful for our organization. However, we had also some time to think of how we should be more competitive. Why? It's just because many organizations right now, and basically our clients, they have offline businesses, and the impact of the COVID on their businesses was much more stronger than on the companies like Unicsoft, where everything is digital and we are able to work remotely, etc. That is why we and like companies similar to Unicsoft, we experienced some downturn in the volume of our businesses, and some projects were put on hold. Some of them were slowed down, and from that perspective, so the overall demand for our services was lowered. That is why the competition for each client has significantly increased. Um, so that we've decided to rethink of our whole customer journey. So what customer experiences with us, starting from the first touch, so when our like, responsible managers contact potential customers, up to the contract signature. And for that, we've analyzed the existing process, found down bottlenecks, and created a plan of how to transform those internal processes towards the best ones and basically become more competitive. So as a result, we've hired two consultants. One of them still works with us, so he consults us on the topics of outbound lead generation, inbound marketing, like internal processes, setup, etc. So yeah, as of now, I think we effectively use the time and believe that maybe in the upcoming months we'll completely rebuild our organization and become more competitive on the market.
Do you think initiatives like that for all projects could help your organization?
I was really happy to become Dell for All expert just because I have relevant background from the educational sphere, and plus my uh, organization Unicsoft delivers such a solution that could contribute to the Dell for All mission, which is to enhance the learning process for the students and tutors around in the Europe and basically around the globe. And I really believe that our knowledge in artificial intelligence and blockchain, that is something that could benefit the learning process and help Dell for All to achieve its goals. Um, so I think it's very helpful, and I'm really glad to be here and to share my knowledge with my colleagues and basically define the best way and of how to improve the learning and make it more efficient in the future.
Thank you, Glib.
Thank you very much.